So my testimony would start, I guess, when I was young. I got saved around, I think I was 5 or 6. So growing up in church, just doing all of the church things, I guess just because it was the right thing to do. Like you went to church on Sunday mornings for Sunday school, and then the regular service, and then you went on Wednesday night, and you went another night, and then another night. I feel like I was in church all the time. But like a lot of it growing up was just because that's what my family did, and so it was mine too. And so I did get saved very early, but I think it really took me a while longer to really just like take it to heart and really start to live it. And I don't think that really happened until I think around 6th grade when I was going into middle school. A lot of my like youth leaders and people I was looking up to like really pouring into me and just encouraging me to take that step from like just a head knowledge to like really taking it to heart. So I guess with that, it was just kind of like, yeah, like I was already like going to church and like doing a lot of these things, but like it was just a realization that like none of that really mattered. Like that my relationship with God was about a relationship, like it wasn't a lot like doing all of these specific things on a checklist. So like from there on, it was just a lot of like fighting through like having that relationship rather than just like doing things just because you're supposed to, because like that was very easy for me to do like growing up in a Christian household, but like it's really made the difference kind of in my walk with Christ, just in everything else, is just making sure to do that. So there's been times where like that's been a lot easier than others. Like I was pushed a lot farther going in, like in high school. I started working at this camp, and I kind of went into it, I guess, a little bit overconfident, that like I had already been in church and like I was saved for a while and like I knew what it meant to be a Christian, so like I would be fine. But like God really used that to just show me like how much more work that I had, that like I hadn't done everything and like I wasn't already like perfect and done with like being a Christian, but that I guess like following God was like a daily like dying to yourself, and like it's not what I want, but it's what Christ wants. So that was just like another big stepping stone moment, I guess, that really just like propelled me in my walk with Christ. And like even now, I feel like God's teaching me a lot, especially in this time of like not having everything the way you're used to it, like with life. Like we're all just kind of here doing nothing with COVID and everything, but at the same time, like God is still good, and like in all of our changes that we go through in life, like God is still there and God's still constant. So it's not about like all that we can do or all that we can't do, but like it's just really about like our relationship with God, like no matter what, just like walking with Him and all of that. So, yeah. So I guess like the first things that I remember are like in the nursery and like very early on, like going through the Bible stories and like doing fun games or like drawing like pictures of Jesus or like the different Bible stories, and just like a lot of those little things of like learning stories and like doing activities, like it's where you see your friends. So yeah. Honestly, I think usually like when I feel closest to God are the times of like probably like some of the harder times, like probably the 2 times specifically were like when I was working at camp, because it was one of those things that I loved, and like I could definitely see like where I was serving God and like what I was doing for Him, but like in a lot of work and a lot of effort and a lot of like pouring out, like I feel like that's also like when I was being filled up the most, and just kind of like in like the less of me there was, like the more of Christ there was, and just like felt super close there. So yeah. I don't know, I think it was probably like in high school for a little bit. It wasn't like anything was going on that was like super crazy or traumatic, but it was just like a time of like nothing. Like nothing exciting was happening. I was just going through the motions of like, hey, like I'm still going to church. Like I would show up on Sunday and Wednesday, and like I'd still see all my friends. And, like everything was just normal. But like I wasn't doing anything to like take my relationship with God to like any new levels. So like it just felt like very much going through the motion just for like a while with nothing really happening. So yes, I think that's probably one of the things I've probably been like most blessed in, and just kind of like seeing God's hand is just like all the different people that like God has put in my life. Like I think a lot of my youth leaders have really like played a big role in kind of who I am today, and like just showing me like what it means to follow God. And I guess I don't know, like a lot of different people, youth pastors, youth leaders, people at camp that I've worked alongside. So there's like a lot of people that have just really been good examples. I think there's a lot of reasons why I'm a Christian. I think, I guess boiled down, one reason I'm a Christian is like I could never do enough like if I wasn't. Like I guess that's the one thing that I'm just continually like blown away by, is that like, hey, like yeah, like I can do like some cool things, and like from time to time I feel like I'm doing all right. But like no matter like how good I am on like my best days, like that's never gonna be enough. But it's just kind of like so comforting and reassuring that like knowing that like what Christ did and his sacrifice, like that is enough, you know? So like even though I can't do it on my own, like I can just rely on God and like have him there whenever I want. So Jesus has changed my life by showing me that I think it's shown me the value of loving others, and the value in like trusting in something that's like higher than yourself, and like realizing the value in seeing the bigger picture. Yeah, so I think I've gone through a lot of transitions in the past couple years. I went from, I think I've worked 3 different jobs. I have graduated high school, moved to a different state where I'd never been for a summer to work. I'm now in college, and that's new. So like, I think there's been a lot of things that are like natural growth things of just growing up, but also like in that like understanding that it has to be, like I guess in my walk with God, that it has to be my faith. And like it's so easy, even like when you are being intentional, to just kind of rely on like everything else that's going around you. But like just learning like, hey, like I'm in a new spot, and like I don't know anyone and I don't know what's going on, but like God is still there, and like he's still faithful. And just in all of those changes, that like, I have someone to turn to and someone to trust. So